Hey, good evening. Welcome to Meteorology Lab. We're finally into September 2018 and beautiful bird's eye view there of North Dallas. And we've had a little bit of tropical moisture making it into Texas here with a deep southeasterly flow, and we're going to look at that on the map very shortly here. So let's head to the satellite. That seems to be working out pretty well. And this is how things looked today in the northwestern U.S. Looks clear, and fortunately, there's something missing. I don't know if any of you are noticing, but there's a lack of smoke. So I think that's good news for the forest fires there. And you can see northwesterly flow, high pressure moving into the northwest U.S., and just stays pretty clear. I kind of like when things are clear. You can see some of the topographic features in here. There's the Great Salt Lake Desert right there. Dugway Proving Ground is in there. I guess the Army has a facility there. Also, this entire area is the Great Basin, and they call that the Great Basin because there are rivers in this area, but most of those don't really go anywhere. They kind of flow into the center. So there's not really an outlet for this part of the country there. Anyway, yeah, let's take a look down south. Looks like our monsoon is going there in New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado, and Utah. Thunderstorms breaking out on the mountains, all the way from Durango, Grand Junction, all the way down to Globe, Safford, and Prescott. It looks like a little bit of a cyclonic twist to the wind flow. Looks like maybe centered across that Four Corners area there. And we can see the cirrus moving from southwest to northeast in this area. That's kind of important. We like to look at the anvils in which way they're spreading. So out here, they're mostly going to the northeast there. That's indicating a little bit of jet stream energy in that region. The anvils in this area, they're moving very slowly to the northeast. So it looks like the stronger flow in this area, that's indicating probably a bit of a jet in the New Mexico and Panhandles area. Things are kind of active in Texas. We've got storms all the way from the western part of the state all the way to the Gulf, and looks like we got a little bit of a weak circulation there in southern Louisiana. Looks like it's almost a tropical depression there, but they don't have that called as one. So, you know, looks like a bit of a easterly wave that's got a little bit of a closed circulation there. Lots of moisture helping to produce storms in Abilene, Wichita Falls, and all the way up to Enid, Oklahoma. Yeah, and some of those are kind of organized up there in Kansas. Got a few, at least one severe thunderstorm watch up for that area there, and some warnings have been coming out. And here's storm warnings, and those are for wind gusts and quarter-sized hail. I would imagine this time of year the wind would be the main concern, because usually the freezing level is up pretty high, and more importantly, the wet bulb through the column is going to be kind of on the warm side. August and September is about as warm as the columns in the troposphere get, so that makes it very difficult to get large hail unless there's a lot of instability there. We can see a lot of outflow dominance there because most of this is anvil, and this is all decaying storm activity and a few embedded storms. Those probably aren't going to do anything. The best prospects for severe would probably be with maybe one or two cells in that cluster, and the cells further west out near, I don't know, where would that be? Wakini, yeah, out in this area. Those are looking pretty decent there. Okay, we'll go ahead and keep things going. So we're kind of building this picture of what's happening across the U.S. And when we look at those waves, those tropical systems, it's good to go to infrared because that can help give another perspective on the circulation there. There's often a very different presentation. So invisible, yeah, if we animate that, we can kind of see a little bit of a circulation there. And then on infrared, it's slightly little bit more obvious there. You can see what looks almost like spiral bands there, and that gives us a location somewhere around Lake Charles, Louisiana. And up to the north, it looks like we can see maybe a little bit of dry advection, some of that dry air making it into North Texas, and haven't really seen dry air in terms of dew points. We're still up at 72 dew points, but I think there has been a little bit of infiltration of dry air, at least in the mid-levels, from Arkansas and Missouri up there. Okay, the north-central U.S., another frontal system making it southward. Air is a little bit less capped in that region, so we've got storms all the way from Milwaukee, Madison, down to the Davenport area, and down to Kansas City, and of course back to the Wichita area. Up to the north, it does look like there has been some cool, dry air making it southward. Clear skies in North Dakota there, so I would suspect maybe a little bit of north wind in that region. And let's take a look out in the northeast. You can see a very predominantly westerly flow there in New York, Pennsylvania. It looks a little bit unstable in that area. We're not really producing much in the way of showers, but it does look like we had a few cumulus buildups during the day, especially over the hilly terrain there of Pennsylvania. And as you go south towards the deeper moisture, yeah, there's some cells out there around Lynchburg, Charleston, and down to about Knoxville. And then, of course, where we have some viewers, Georgia and Florida. And let's see if I can get that to come up. There we go. As we start out, you can see this impressive sea breeze working from east to west. And it forms a bit of a, I guess, almost looks like a little front there marching from Georgia into Alabama. But obviously, with things being a little bit uncapped down there, with plenty of moisture, that's producing quite a few cells. And where we have less moisture up north in the Atlanta area, that boundary is really not helping out much in that area. You can see not too many cells developing in that area east of Atlanta, which I guess is good if you have a flight going out of Hartsfield Airport. So I think that's a pretty thorough look at what's going on. The one thing I don't have for you is, I think they're calling that a potential tropical storm. Anyway, that's slowly coming together, and we're expecting that to possibly affect the western Gulf Coast later in the week. Okay, we'll head to the surface map, check that out. And this is generated here with digital atmosphere. And we can see that line of storms all the way from Wisconsin down to Missouri there. And dew points up almost to 70, in fact 72 there at Springfield. And as we go south, probably a little bit of bad data there in northeastern Arkansas. I see 80 right there. However, around there looks like maybe up to 74. So lots of moisture, and 77 there at El Dorado, Arkansas. And we'll take a look at the national map, and the green colors correspond to higher dew point. So it looks like our moisture axis, if I can get my pen back, hang on a second. Sometimes I have to fight with this pen tool. And there we go. So moisture axis looks like it's right in that area from Louisiana up to Arkansas and up to southeast Missouri. So that's going to be probably where some of our better precip chances are going to be today. We are in a kind of a deep southeasterly flow. So we're bringing up moisture and systems from this area. Got kind of a storm track kind of running like this right here. So that's helping to bring up dew points in Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, and along with that, chances of rain. Okay, we'll go ahead and head through the chart sequence, and we'll kind of step back and look at the synoptic map. This is the isobars in thickness. So what do we see here? What I like to do is kind of start with the largest systems I see on this chart. Before I get into this, let me see how things are looking on our stream. We're dropping frames. Okay, yeah, I don't know what's happening here. Dropping 3,000 frames, which is not good. And we're still dropping frames. Okay. I'm not really sure if we should continue. All right, we're going to stop until we resolve this.